Hey guys, welcome back to the Birds Party channel. Today I'm going to show you how to DIY this beautiful Easter tier tray that is perfect for decorating your table centerpieces or your home this Easter. And I'll also be showing how to make these adorable speckled Easter eggs. I'm going to need some polystyrene eggs, 2 wooden trays, some colored speckled mini eggs, natural moss, 2 wooden bunnies, and what's not pictured are 4 large wooden beads, some black acrylic paint, and we're also going to be using some pastel colored acrylic paints and 2 large egg cups. And the first thing I did was to paint my wooden trays using a foam brush and pink acrylic paint, but you can use whatever color you like to match your Easter decor. And I will leave the link in the description box so you can check out where to get all the supplies for this DIY. So once you've painted the inside and the sides of the tray, there's no need to paint the underside of the tray because it's not going to be seen. You let it dry, and if needed you paint it on top again, a second coat, until everything looks nice and covered and you can't see any more wood coming through. Once everything is dry, you have the option to add a clear varnish to make sure that you seal in that acrylic paint and you won't get any chips. And then I did the same thing for my egg cups. Next up, I painted my wooden bunnies, which will be sitting on top of my tier tray as part of my decoration. And for one of the bunnies I chose blue acrylic paint, and once again we're going to be using a foam brush to apply the paint to the wooden bunny, and once it's dry, if needed, you can go over it with another coat of paint to make sure everything is nice and covered. And once that's dry, you have the option to go over the wooden pieces again with some clear varnish to seal in the paint, or some PVA glue, which also works just as well, but it's an optional step if you want to make sure that your pieces last for years to come. And for my second bunny, I chose yellow, pastel yellow color to contrast with the blue and the pink of the stand. And once again we're using a foam brush and doing the same technique as before. We do one coat of paint, wait for it to dry, do a second coat if needed, and finish off with a coat of clear varnish. As you can see, there's a lot of painting involved in this DIY project, which makes it a really easy project as well to do with the whole family. So if you have some kids around, need to keep them entertained, don't hesitate to bring out the little helpers and get them involved in creating some fabulous memories as a family, and get involved in making a super fun, really pretty Easter decor piece that is also really functional. Next up, we'll be painting these large wooden bees, which will be actually used as the feet of our stands. And I'm just using some wooden skewers or wooden sticks to kind of help me paint the beads and stop them from rolling around and wobbling around. And once I finish painting them, to let them dry, you can prop them inside a glass or inside a polystyrene block or a floral foam to keep them upright and help them dry easily. Once again, I'll be doing one coat of paint, letting it dry. Once it's dry, if needed, I do another coat of paint, and once that's dry, then you can go over with your clear varnish or your PVA glue to help seal the paint. It's the same technique that we used for the trays and for the wooden bunnies. Once all your wooden pieces are dry, we're going to assemble the stand, and the first thing we're going to do is to add the feet to the stand. So I'm adding a generous amount of strong glue to each bead that we painted and fixing that to all the 4 corners of one of my wooden trays. You can use a little bit of hot glue as well to help it glue a little bit faster, but ideally let it cure for at least 24 hours before proceeding on to the next step, to make sure that all the beads are really stuck on and everything is nice and dry. And while the bottom tier is drying, we're going to proceed to assemble the top tier using our egg cups and the other tray that we painted. And once again, I'm using very strong glue and being very generous with it. You can use a little bit of hot glue in there as well to help it stick quicker. And you're just going to stick the 2 egg cups end to end as I'm showing you here. Once that's dry, then you can stick the egg cups to the center of the second tray. I just eyeballed where my centerpiece should be, but you can measure it from each corner and just kind of make it more accurate if you wish. And once everything is dry, once again, we're just going to stick the top tray to the bottom tray. Once again, using some strong glue, and I just position the top part right in the center of the bottom tier. Make sure that everything is level, everything is lined up, so the top tray is lined up with the bottom tray, and let everything dry. Next up, we're going to be making these adorable speckled Easter eggs, which are perfect to use as part of decor for our Easter tiered tray or tiered stand, but you can use for many other DIY projects as well. And to make it easy to paint my polystyrene eggs, once again I'm using that kind of technique using a wooden skewer so that I can actually get around all the sides of my egg easily. And once they're painted, I can prop them inside a glass, inside a polystyrene block or fluorofoam to let them dry. And once again, I'm using my pastel colors in pink, blue, yellow and green, but you can use whatever colors you like. And I'm using here a cake pop stand, in fact, to prop my eggs and to let them dry while I paint all the other eggs. I had 8 eggs, so I painted 2 eggs in each color and let them dry. And if needed, you can go over once again with another coat of paint to make sure that you don't see any of the white polystyrene underneath the paint. And once our eggs are dry, we're going to use a little bit of black acrylic paint and a little paintbrush, and flicking the paint with your fingers. You can see it gets a little bit messy, so make sure that you have something to protect your surfaces, and make sure that you don't have anything precious around because it could get splattered with black paint. So by flicking the paint around the egg surface, as you can see, we achieve this super pretty speckled egg effect. And you can do as much or as little as you like. I did a little thin coat, but then I went over it some of the eggs and did a little bit more to make it more obvious and more speckled. And once everything is nice and dry, it comes the fun part of decorating our tiered Easter tray or Easter stand. And I've used my bunnies, one on the top and one on the bottom, and filled any of the gaps inside the tray with my green moss. And I think it looks super pretty for a table centerpiece, but you can use it to decorate your home around Easter time, and it looks adorable as well if you're serving Easter treats like cupcakes or chocolate eggs or anything else that you fancy for your friends and family over Easter. And then to finish things off, I just used our speckled Easter eggs and filled any gaps again with the mini eggs that I found at my local craft store. But if you can't find those, just use the same technique that we used for the big eggs and just make sure that you speckle some mini polystyrene eggs. And there you have it, our super pretty pastel colored tiered Easter stand that is perfect as a table centerpiece or to serve up some delicious Easter treats. I really hope you've enjoyed this tutorial and that you feel inspired as always to recreate this DIY project at home and to decorate your Easter tables, or as a fun craft idea to do with your family and your kids. And I also hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already, and click on that little bell button to be notified of all the new contents that we upload here each week. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.